It's okay, excellent. All right, good. So would you like to start sharing some wins on your side?
Um,
Wins?
yeah, I got a 3 night stay at somebody's house last night.
Oh,
So
really?
that was,
Okay.
yeah. Well, on Saturday, I have a friend, a school friend, who's um, uh, contracted motor neurons disease, and so he got it. He got diagnosed about a year and a half ago or something. So we've all known he's kind of deteriorating, and he's an incredibly gregarious and social person. So he has a lot of friends, and he's kept in contact with a lot of different school friends. So on Saturday night, he organised. I mean, he organises a party every year, but last night was his last kind of. I mean, Saturday night was his last big party because we doubt he'll be you'll be able to do much by this time next year. So consequently, a lot of people turned up. So it was quite strange because it was being in a pub in Sevenoaks where I grew up with a bunch of people who I used to go to school with, and
Okay.
it was just like being a teenager again in the context. Obviously, not a teenager, socializing with a bunch of very old people. No, I say very old people. If I look at myself as a teenager, they all seem really old. But of course, I'm the same age as them, so it's not really that at all. But it was an interesting kind of experience for sure. And yeah, I met some really interesting people. I met some financial people who work in the city because it's a typical place for successful traders and other types of financial people to live, commute half an hour, 45 minutes into the city, do their city work and come back again and live a nice, peaceful life in a rich part of England. So it was quite funny because some people were like, as soon as they found out I was doing Bitcoin and it kind of crypto orientated, it was like, oh, crypto, what a rubbish. And, oh, crypto,
Really?
and I was like, no, you're talking bollocks, mate. So it's quite funny having this, finding myself having these kind of this dialogue with people that if you put me in a different circumstance, they're suits, they're the kind of the suited people that, I mean, I was talking to one guy who's in forensics at Deloitte, and he was talking about regulation to some other guy, and I mean, regulation, really, is it worth it? He goes, well, what do you mean? I mean, well, Bernie Madoff, chairman of the NASDAQ, highly regulated. It doesn't stop it though, does it? So yeah, but I had but unfortunately, because it was a social setting with everybody there apart from me and one other were drunk. It wasn't really I was thinking, it'd be nice to kind of muscle in and kind of get a time with some of these people, but there's no point asking somebody if it's just, you have to have them ready. So I didn't get any cards or anything like that. I mean, not that anybody had any cards, but I wouldn't have, I didn't make any of those sorts of connections, which is a shame. But it's also interesting because it's just you get a feeling for people's opinion. So but anyway, yeah. So was that good? Yeah, it was good. It was interesting. From I got coach Tuesday.
Oh,
So
nice, nice.
yeah, I'm going to London. I'm going to.
First workshop or the second one? Oh, second one, right?
It's the first one. No, it's the first
It's
one.
the first
October
for
starts
you.
first.
Okay.
Yeah.
For your second year. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I got that. So I'm going up to London now. After this, I'll go up to London. I'll meet somebody who's on the same coach workshop, have lunch with them, and then I've got coach all day tomorrow.
Wow, excellent. Wow, that's you're in for quite a treat.
I hope so.
Excellent. All right. Thanks for sharing. All right. So let me share about my wins. Okay. Couple of. Okay. So well, one was a weekend was a family. My parents came and visit our children. Okay, because it was the Moon Festival. My
Oh
mom
yeah.
really wanted everybody to get together. So my dad, and it was quite a trip because my dad isn't good with movement, and my brother has autism. and but it went, there were some surprises, but I think overall it was a great learning for everyone involved. Okay, so I think that's that. It might have surprising. Remember, I told you about I could postpone my next trip to Canada because of Iris' request. Now there could be a possibility remotely that I might still continue the trip after all, because because of this event that took place, and it's basically more
Sorry, I
about
don't. What
you
event?
don't get
Sorry.
the link. Yeah, I mean my parents visiting. Yeah,
Oh,
because
I see that.
it
Right.
caused quite a stir. I mean, basically, okay. I'll save the story. It's but basically, my daughter surprisingly was encouraging me to actually go. Okay, so that so that grandparents will not visit them so often, so or won't be able to. Okay, so
Is she not
that
like her grandparents then?
well, they're not as close with my parents, and my mother does have a I would say well, she's quite something. I have to say that. I'm learning a lot from her. She's basically always right. You know, like she wants certain thing gets done, and she's always right. Like,
Everybody is. You show me one person who really thinks they were always wrong. And if you follow that logically through, and you find somebody who goes, "Oh, I'm always wrong," they're self-fulfilling a prophecy that they are always wrong. Ergo, they're always right.
right. True.
So by
So
default, you can never be always. You will never find somebody who's always wrong.
right, or rather that well, she rarely admits that she's, I guess, done something wrong or inappropriate, and I guess, but then again, you're right, yeah. So anyway, it's just that I guess it's not really, but I guess the win there was I did my best. Okay, try to put up a family gathering event, which more or less happened, okay, and relatively smoothly. And then, and also as a result of that, there might be a chance for me to go earlier. Okay, so I guess that's that. So the other thing was being jogging and realizing that I actually now am in contact with people of different ages, from 70 years, 60 years, 50 plus, 40, I'm 40 plus, 30, 20, and maybe, teenager. And if there's somehow, and actually on a regular basis, I'm talking about on a more or less like a weekly basis, and more or less on some kind of collaboration capacity. If these people can all be connected, hooked together into like one thing, one project, I think that would bring a lot of focus and energy into having something tremendous to happen, because it's often not easy to, join so many people of different diverse backgrounds, age group. Okay, so actually, I consider you not just a work partner, but also a mentor. Okay, to me.
Careful.
Well, I do see it that way, and you're probably in the 50 plus category, right? So
55. I'm right in the middle.
so yeah, so I just thought that it's I just did an inventory and surprisingly found, like Donald is in 70, Dr. Yan, the real estate guy, he's in the 60s. You're in the 50s. I'm 40. And, the other guy I'm collaborating with the courses, Nick, he's in his 30s. And Josh is in his 20s. And, we might get a funnel hacker in his teenage, like a high school kid. So anyway, I just thought that it would be really neat if there's a chance for like everything to sort of work towards one thing. This has been a sort of strategic thinking on my part lately. Okay, so then the next was having a chat with Rebecca, okay, last week, 30-minute chat, and we did a good chat, and I also share about what's happening in JCF. So she recommended that we do an experience transformer. So that will be something I would like to do today.
Again.
No, she said that you should do it every once in a while, to see what's working, what's not so working, and how to improve. And at least once every quarter, if not on, let's say, a monthly basis, right? So that might be a good way to sort of see the gap and bridge the difference. Okay, because I do feel that there's some gap that's now. All right, so those are my wins. And curious, what would you like to discuss today on your part? I mean, on the rolling agenda, which one tops, kind of comes to the top?
Well, where are we with the lead magnet?
With the lead magnet? Okay, all right. So that's the book, right? Okay, so anything else? Or that would be pretty much the top one?
Well, I think if we start with that as the first thing, then we can see where that takes us.
Okay, sure. All right. So that's all right. So I have three things on my end. And one is the experience transformer. Okay, this is something I like to do together. And the other thing is about an incentive, how to build incentives for, I guess, for potentially a team token. This is in relation to how do we sort of enlist Josh to work as a potentially in a technical capacity. Okay, and third is JCF, actually, according to a technical indicator, we should enter position now. Okay.
Oh, what's that?
According to the technical indicator, we might consider enter position now. So if I like to check with you, if there's also no problem, then we should probably enter position, according to basically meaning that the crypto trend is going up now.
Okay. So I think out of those, the more important is a quick answer on the entering. If the indicator says yes, and that's the strategy that you've been following so far, then go. So,
okay, but
I think
I like to show you how that worked, though. I mean, just basically also like what's the indicator, right? So that I think
that'd be useful. That's very operational.
Okay.
And okay, I get that. I think look, Shinyan, we only have like an hour.
Right.
Certainly only have an hour today. And we only have an hour on Thursday, if that. Oh, and next Thursday, by the way, that's going to be a no-show for me because I've got to take a customer. I've got to drive them 2 hours from the north to the south of England, do a meeting with them, and then take them back. So I'm not. Thursday's not going to happen.
Okay.
So our time is incredibly limited.
Yes.
We spend a lot of it talking. I was going to use a swear word there, but not in a rude way.
Okay.
In English, I can say we're talking bollocks. Now,
bollocks. Okay.
Talking bollocks means one. It can mean you're just talking rubbish. It's just you're and it's a rude thing to say, because it means that the person you're saying it to is talking rubbish.
Right, right.
Who don't know what they're talking about, right?
Right.
But you can also use it, and this is the way I mean it, is that we're talking about general stuff, right?
Okay.
So when you and I talk bollocks, we're not focused on the important stuff. So
Right.
sharing wins is really important from an accountability point of view.
Okay.
And being accountability partners and mentoring each other, because it's a two-way thing,
Right.
that's really important to do that. But you need the time to afford to do that.
Right, right. Sure.
And do you not own any curtains?
I do, but the sun is nice. The view is also nice. I don't want to block that.
I just thought that might help.
Okay.
So that for me, when I think we have to be wary of the time that we spend on things which are not, strategically prioritized.
Okay.
So, and showing me how you go into, I think is a valuable thing. I don't think it's important today.
Okay.
So,
Okay. You mean the position, the interposition stuff?
Yeah, we need to, if we're not entering into a position, then we're not making money.
No.
So it needs to be done.
Right.
That's it.
Okay.
So if we're going to list the things which I think are important, for me, I think the importance is, where are we with our lead magnet? Because that has a direct impact on our goal, our target of 1,000. I think as a priority, the business method,
right,
strategy is important.
Okay.
Because if we're not making money, then what's the point? It's not a charity. And all the other things that you want to achieve, I think I'm particularly jaded with crypto idealism and technical naivety. Not technical naivety. The naivety of technologists to deliver upon, or forgetting about the fundamentals.
Okay, right.
So I've used this example in the past. When you look at what happened in '96, at that period, a lot of technologists came up with these funky ideas about the internet.
Right.
And during that period to around about 2000, there was the dot-com boom. And they called it a bubble because everybody knew it was a bubble. And then the bubble burst. And then there was a bit of a crisis. And it was when the naivety of technologists who gained material power was handed over to grey-haired people who understood business principles.
Okay.
Now, I've always said that will happen with blockchain, and I think we can see that. I think in the next 12 to 18 months, we'll see a massive change with that, and that whole BlackRock getting its when they get their ETF, and I think it will be an inevitability.
Okay.
That's going to make a big difference. So, I think also I need to apologize because I think in recent weeks I've been somewhat frustrated.
I can definitely feel that.
And if I've been pushing too much, then and particularly you said at the beginning of the last thing you were at your mum's, and so you were feeling fairly vulnerable. I don't know whether or not I really listened properly to that, because I think I carried on a bit anyway. So I'm just offering that as an apology. But having offered the apology,
appreciate it. Okay, and actually, no worries. I can
With that said, I'm still of the opinion that I'm right, which
Right,
is
right.
ironic
I know,
because
I know.
to go back to your
I-
previous statement, in my previous statement about people are always right, so we believe we are. But if you say the
You're
interesting
probably right.
breakdown of this is it if I sit there and say I believe everybody believes that they're right,
Mhm.
and whilst I'm apologising for being a bit brusque, right, I still sit there and I'm saying I'm right. For
Mhm.
the same token, you're still sitting there saying, well, I'm right with the way in which I think.
Mhm. Right. Right. Mhm.
Okay. And so when you've told me, you've volunteered all of this information. I haven't kind of gone there with it, but you volunteered that both your mum, your property guru,
Mhm.
the guy from the exchange,
Mhm.
they've all said similar things. But broadly, you're an academic
Mhm.
and
Right.
you're not an entrepreneur.
Right. Right.
And
Mhm.
when you heard that from these other people,
Right.
you said to me, I want to be I'm going to change, because that guy said you need to make loads of changes. And
Right.
you
Right.
said to me, I'm going to change because I am going to be an entrepreneur, right? So
Right.
you've presented that to me and
Mhm.
gifted me that information. Had you not done that, I would not have known all of this, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
in part, the reason why I kind of come back to these statements and I say the things that I do, it's because I feel, what's the right word? Responsibility isn't quite the right word, but I feel that there's a not an obligation either,
Mhm.
but I just feel like I've been gifted by you the right to say, to speak my mind. And
Okay.
if I and when you say, well, when you come to me with ideas about JCF and you're saying, well, we can go here, we can go there, da, 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 that's what I see. I just see a distributed idea and
Right. Right.
not a focused idea. And
Mhm.
I believe that from all the, I mean, here's a challenging thing for both of us, Shunyan. You and I will read, you and I read the same thing,
Mhm.
but because we're individuals, our experience is different. We will pull different images and different ideas from the same text.
Mhm. Right.
So, and until I'm a billionaire, what do I know?
You're on your way to become one, hopefully.
Yeah, but what do I know? Right? I haven't achieved certain. So until you
Oh,
achieve certain stepping stones,
right.
milestones,
True, true, true. Right.
all it is subjective speculation.
True.
It's not objective fact.
I, I'm
So
surprised.
I'm trying to balance a lot of different things here, a lot
Great,
of different
great.
arguments.
I'm very impressed with the awareness that you're showing, exhibiting. Okay. I think that's very rare, and that will, I believe, will carry you and us, hopefully, us together a long way. Okay. All right. So, um, I I think let's go to some of the more concrete discussions. Would that be all right with your
Yeah,
permission? Okay, because I think that was also a general discussion. Okay, although it's
yeah,
much appreciated.
agreed.
Okay, okay. So, well, first about the lead magnet. Okay, I think I did read the. Actually, I finished the. My apologies, I haven't provided feedback yet, but I did, listen through the whole thing and actually decided that. Well, I felt that there was the materials are more or less there, but the ordering can still be changed a bit. Okay. This is mostly about how to present it so that it's, I guess, more, sort of in a more logical manner. Okay. And also more maybe in line with some of the things Russell has talked about, you want to present like a story, like a journey, like a hero's journey so that the listener or the reader can sort of follow your path line of thinking. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I think what I'll do is I'll probably organize that a bit more and send it today. Okay, so you can maybe have a listen, have a look. Okay, so I think that's my current update on the status.
There's a contents page, isn't there?
Yes, there's a content page.
I mean, okay, if you cut and paste, because the contents page is automated,
Right.
and it's based upon the file headings,
Right.
if you just cut and paste the contents page. So if you copy it, paste it somewhere else, restructure it the way that you think it could go.
Okay, all right.
And then you don't. That's the least amount of effort that you can take, right?
That's
assuming
the
assuming that then that's the best format, we can then just take that as being the premise, and when we fit it, I'll tell you what I'll do actually. I've already written a book.
Is that a Google Doc you are talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I've already written an ebook for income sec.
Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, to be honest with you, that book, if I'd have done it 9 to 5, would have taken me about a week.
Mm-hmm.
It was complete.
Okay.
It's 80% done.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the fact that our lead magnet is taking so long is because it's just the disjointed way in which we work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see. All right. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a fair statement. Okay. All right. So would that be all right for that part, the lead magnet? Okay.
Yeah.
And the second thing, okay, well, so I just like to offer one feedback on my current thinking is that I think all the people who have given me feedback so far, I do appreciate. Obviously, I do feel that they are you included are a lot more experienced, at least have made a lot more money, okay, than I had in my entrepreneur journey. That being said, I do now see it more and more that I do feel that everybody has a different path. Okay, and I'm actually appreciating that kind of different path more and more. In that everyone has his or her own hero's journey, because everybody's goal is likely very different. You know, like for example, Musk, his next goal is to get I think to earn like $100 million, on a annual or monthly basis. I'm not sure. Okay, but I mean, he's basically after a huge, I think 10x financial goal. Okay, that's one of the mentor, and the other is try to build up, students and followers with the real estate, thing. So I think everyone has a different goal, and I also have one. Okay, which is now quite clear to me, to incubate 1,000 social unicorns in my lifetime. Okay, so I want to first, and become a social billionaire in the process, and likely that will give up, my first. I want to create my own unicorn first, right? Very likely that will be JCF. So I think that I'm also on a different path, So okay, so I guess
different
that's
path to what?
From the other, I think the other entrepreneurs, okay, that I've seen so far. So
What do you mean by that though? You're on a different path.
Okay, different in terms of I do feel that well, everybody is different, right? Everybody has a different goal, and the goal, and also I guess the surrounding, the situations, the background determines the pathway that you go. But right now, I'm more and more into the opinion or of the view that actually there are not just one way towards success. Okay, likely there's as many as
No, so success, right? That is a completely movable goal, set of
Target.
goalposts.
Okay.
Yeah, target, right?
Right.
Because it's irrelevant what somebody else's success is.
Right.
Because
Right.
the criteria of what is successful will change with every person.
That's true.
So if you're saying, I'm going to be successful, yeah, you are. You will be successful. You are already successful.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to be a social billionaire. What does that look like? You can't, being a social billionaire isn't about being successful. You might well be successful as a social billionaire. But what is a social billionaire?
Okay.
It's a successful person. Are they? You know, if you had a million unicorns, right, or whatever the number is,
Okay.
all of them generating $1 million,
Right.
doesn't, in some respects, it could mean that you're not successful. Because if you're not making any money out of them, then you're spending all of your lifetime working for other people to make them successful when you're not making any money. So does that make you successful? It makes you successful in a kind of philanthropic point of view. Makes you successful in that you're helping other people. Does it make you successful in terms of money?
Okay.
To pay the rent, to pay for the education of your children, and so on and so forth, right? So I'm asking you this question because I think that I've always had, I want to earn $1 million, at the very least $1 million a year of profit.
Right.
Okay. I've always wanted that since 2006. I made that decision.
Right.
And I've only recently, last couple of years, realized how easy it would be to do that and what is the mechanism in which to do that. So, but it doesn't mean that I'm successful.
Okay.
So although I have a financial kind of like set of parameters, I feel successful already.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm not successful in that particular goal,
Aspect,
but I am successful in who I am.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
So I'm trying to illustrate the difference between having these targets and then these subjective targets and these objective targets, I guess. The reason behind the questions that I ask.
Okay, right.
And the reason why I ask these questions is because I don't sense that there is a clarity within yourself for them. And why is that frustrating to me? Because I think that it will dilute the direction in which we're going for the purpose of JCF.
Oh, okay.
And that dilution is one of the reasons, or the impact, or an example of an impact of that is the fact that we don't have a lead magnet yet.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And that's the reason why we haven't started the process of getting our 1,000.
Okay. Right.
So whilst you know, I'm trying to illustrate why the frustration sits over here, manifests itself over here, because it's fundamentally linked to JCF, but then it's also kind of the way in which you and I interact.
Okay.
And that's partly because the way in which you and I interpret the education that we're constantly getting.
Right. True. All right. Okay. So thanks for that. Okay. So I guess what I heard is that yeah, thanks for sharing. Successful or not, this is a separate topic from financially well off. Okay, I guess that's something more specific. But and also whether we should be more concrete in terms of getting to that place, 1,000, right? Are we being focusing on? I think that's a good question. Okay. All right. So yeah, I do have maybe different ideas about whether we're moving towards that 1,000 and how fast we're moving. But okay, so I guess still I think
How is that a different idea? Okay. So you're saying I have different ideas as to how fast we're moving towards that 1,000.
Okay, basically,
factually,
right.
In June, we gave ourselves a target of 1,000 new customers within the next 3 months.
Right, true.
July, August, September.
Right.
It's the 1st of October.
Right.
3 or 4 days ago, I said to you, well, I've said the same thing. We've got to get 1,000 by the end of September. Oh, well, we've still got 2 days left, was your response.
Right. Right.
Have they materialized in the last 2 days? Your statement, I have different ideas as to how we're going to achieve that. We haven't achieved it. That is a statement of fact.
True. That's true. Right.
Your different ideas that I don't understand what they are.
Okay.
Have not materialized with the achievement of the goal.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Now, this is not me being critical. I'm not trying to. I'm speaking with passion and emotion because I care. Right.
Okay.
I care about the 1.5 years I've spent talking about this.
Right.
I care about the opportunity cost that it's cost me in terms of where my other business.
Right. True. Yes.
I haven't grown my property portfolio and I haven't grown my business because I've in part have been spending energy and enthusiasm and creativity on JCF. So there's a cost there to me.
Right. Yes.
But also I've invested money into JCF as well. Not a lot, but I've given some peanuts basically.
Right. Sure.
Right. So
and now your my observation is you're scaling back your involvement on JCF, right? I mean, I can see that.
I know. I mean, I don't. Why would you say that? Because I've spent the time. I've developed I've built a lead magnet. I've done that in the time scale that I said I would do it in. I still attend these meetings on a weekly basis.
Right. Okay. So
the thing is, I'm not scaling back. I'm just doing what I'm promising I'm doing, and I'm doing it within the time scale that I'm promising I'm doing.
Right. Okay. All right.
And I've spent time getting. You see, here's the thing, Shunyun, that's a misinterpretation, because I've spent the time reading the bloody book and rereading it, and then applying that logic to a format where we can deploy it.
Right.
But it starts with having a sodding lead magnet to go out there and advertise so that you can generate the customer.
Right.
Acquisition through it.
Okay. All right.
So the frustration is like, if you're not going to do any work, then why the fuck am I wasting my time doing it?
I see. Okay. All right. I guess my concern, all right, just to feedback on this, is that even with the lead magnet, okay, and right now our system may not be, I guess, portable, okay, with these potential clients. So that is something, remember the legality thing that we want to.
Might not be what, sorry?
Basically, to onboard the clients, okay, we want to make sure we do have a working system that can onboard clients. And also,
are you talking about JCF Main or JCF Wealth?
JCF Main, and also, well, I guess JCF Wealth, but JCF Main also, I mean, in terms of the onboarding and also, I guess, of the investment strategy. Yeah. So I'm not sure, if we're ready in those aspects, or maybe from your view, it's ready and it's just scaling that part.
So first of all, the acquisition of 1,000, we're not the lead magnet. What is it going to do? It's not going to generate 1,000 people with $1,000 today, right? What it will do is we have to get it done in stages.
Right.
So
right.
our ultimate goal is to get 1,000 people with $1,000 signed
Right.
up.
Right. True.
Be under we are not going to sit there, post our first attempt, and get 1,000 1,000s. We're not going to make $1 million straight away on one attempt.
Okay.
What we're aiming to do is to generate a base of emails,
right,
a platform of content of people that have shown that they have an interest.
Okay.
Now, if that lead magnet generates 10,000, 100,000, whatever, then by default, some of those will trickle into an investment strategy.
Okay.
But we don't know that because we don't know what proportion. We don't know how scalable it will need to be. We don't know how much physical onboarding there'll be because we don't have anybody coming in at the beginning of the funnel. The funnel is empty.
Right.
When Matthew or whoever, Robert or whoever it was that was going to every BNI every day,
right.
he knew what the trickle rate was. He knew what the flow rate was because he knew how big the funnel was.
Okay, all right.
So, and here's the thing: if the flow rate is 0, it's irrelevant.
Right.
Where the priority.
All right, that's okay. I think that's valid.
If you read Traction, right, the 3 things that so in Traction he says typically businesses, and I've heard this tons and tons and tons, make the statement: if you don't have sales, the business won't work.
Right.
Okay. And as a salesman, I naturally think there and think, well, unless you have a sale, you can't really deliver anything. You're not making any money, are you? But no matter how good your sales process is, that's number one. Number 2 is the transactional part. It's the delivery mechanism, right? The transformation part. If you don't have a good transformation element and operations, if your operations aren't working, doesn't matter how good your sales are, it's going to fall apart.
Right. Okay.
If your sales and your transformational element are good and working, but you don't have the third element, which is billing, accounting, you're not charging people for it. If you're not making money from it, if you're not generating a cash flow, a profit, doesn't matter either. No point in selling something and building it and then not sending out an invoice.
Okay. All right, fair. Or not making profit, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose really in our context, it's the profit comes out of the transformation process. Right.
Okay. All right. So good. All right. So maybe okay. So I think obviously finished the magnet. Okay. I think thanks for clarifying. Okay. I think the other things can wait. So about, I guess, an experienced transformer. Okay. This is something I still like to ask.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
what has worked?
There's other things there's other things that we haven't dealt with as well. Like you've done stuff without consulting about it, and you've made statements that, oh, we've got a CTO now. Have we? Who is it?
Okay, right now looks like it will be Josh. I guess the most likely candidate.
Looks like it'll be Josh. Why? What process did we go through to come to that conclusion? You're making decisions because you're just moving on ahead with ideas that you're having.
Okay, right.
Fundamentally, that's you operating on your own. You want to go fast, go on your own. In which case, you don't need me. So, you know, I just find it a bit. And you want to do an experience transformation. What we're doing really, if I'm being honest with you and you're being honest with me on a regular basis,
Right.
you are actually getting a transformer. You just have to listen to what's being said.
Okay.
The experience transformer is there for people that aren't paying attention. So you put it into a format where you can actually say what needs to be said.
Okay.
I think
So
I'm being quite honest with you on a regular basis.
There's also a reason why do the experience transformer, which is I think we want to list out what has worked during this period. For example, the last quarter, right? Because then again, you will be leaving, I guess, again, for the gap, right? And reason why I feel that it's good to do this is also an honest feedback. I feel that, I don't know if it's right, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do feel that I'm sensing you have been coming more from the gap than from the gain regarding the past, this period, last couple of months or so. So I think it has, and I suspect, I don't know if it's right. Again, this is an, I guess, assumption, is that pressure, stress from your work or from your company, I guess, income stack, right, has put a pressure on your, I guess, both time and space and thinking. Okay, so for example, like you were mentioning, you wanted to put more hours to gain back the profitability of income stack, which you did successfully. But from my view, or from, I guess, what I've been learning, this is more the 2x mindset and action. Okay, and it's likely out of fear and anxiety as opposed to, really just you are thinking ahead and embracing the 10x future. So I do sense that there's a gap between how we're operating now. For example, like the idea of going to open source, I also don't consider it as a light, like a comment or decision. It's really a combination of long-term observation, my observation, understanding of the tech world, and also blockchain, crypto, decentralization, and also the regulation environment. Okay, so I guess from my perspective, I like to move quickly to the 10x future self, maybe dropping 80% of the current. And also when you were sharing with me that, you haven't been doing dance stuff for the last 3 weeks. Okay, I'm not sure if you the last one. Okay, that actually also concerned me. Okay, because in a sense, okay, from my perspective, well, I actually have been doing them and actually have been putting time into that. What I realize is it's really deliberate practice. Okay, although the questions might seem repetitive, but it is deliberate practice to get to deeper understanding and deeper, I guess, embrace to the core essence and fundamentals. And I can sense that transformation in myself. Okay, but I fear that I don't see the same transformation on you. So this is also something I like to share with you honestly. Okay, about what I'm seeing the gap, the difference between how we have been operating. I agree everything you said so far about focus on profitability, about and if you don't make profit, it's not a business, etc. But I also would like to point out, the nature of JCF is not really, the traditional like IT business or service. It's really a tech platform. It's more on the, like the Airbnb kind of stuff and the scaling. And, a lot of those companies actually do lose money for a while. Okay, even Amazon was, not making profit for 10 years. over a decade, but it was continuously building towards something, right? And improving the fundamentals. I'm not saying that that's necessarily the JCF path, or we cannot take a group by profit approach. Okay, in fact, that's probably preferred, but that also requires us to get to a certain scale, given our current business model. So in that respect, actually having a deeper discussion about whether we should change our business model, right, towards something maybe more flexible, I think that's also important. I can give an example. For example, last Friday, I chatted with Brett. If you recall him, he's the real estate guy, right? He's actually we actually have a schedule monthly, and I have been talking with him for the last couple of months, okay? And he actually suggested, he could be interested in tokenization, for his company, real estate projects. And, if we have a solution, let's say a consulting work, offer us in consultancy, that could be something. If we have like a pitch, that might be something he'd be willing to have a look. So in a sense, we could pivot into a more consulting role, earning from that, okay, and also gaining more experience, credibility, and real world projects. That would be a bit shift in our business model, but it will still be consistent with what we've been doing so far. Okay, so I do feel that, that's kind of the discussion that maybe will be more important than finishing the lead magnet, because the lead magnet is based on a business model we have been operating so far, but that doesn't mean that that's still, that still may be the best approach, or, yeah, because like the regulatory stuff, although Taiwan at the moment, I think we can still operate legally, but there is no guarantee that any time, let's say there's no law that's passed requiring us to, go through, get some license with, let's say, at least 50,000 grand, for example, right? It would again be a money we don't have. We cannot, and that would basically shut down our business model.
Fine. And at which point you would have to pivot. But exactly. until that happens, you see, that's at that point you would have to pivot if you're in exactly the same place as you are now. If we had operated and achieved the target that we set ourselves, or got somewhere near close to understand what the process or the flow, the pipeline would be to get close to 1,000 MAU at 1,000, we would have had 1 million. We'd have been sat there with $1 million under management today.
Right, sure, okay. All right.
Now, if you're at that position, then you've got.
That would be a comfortable position, right?
Well, you would have a different position. You would have a different mindset to, the Taiwanese government are going to change it. It's going to cost us 50,000. That's okay, because we know that if we carry on doing the lead magnet process, we'll gain another 5 million within the next 3 months.
That's it. Okay, right.
And because we're making 20% per month, we'll be able to afford to pay for that. So we can budget for that. We can go to a bank, we can go to a funder, we can go to an investor, we can say, look, this is the way the business is working. This is where we want to take it. This is what the fundamental changes are going to be. But we can't do any of that. Now, I'm not being in the gap. I'm not complaining about, well, we didn't do this. I'm just saying we didn't do it. It's a statement of fact. It's a reality.
All right. Okay.
Good comments.
Agree. Okay. I accept what you just said. Okay. I agree.
Good comments about what the observations that you made were valid. And in some part, I would suggest I've said the same thing to myself. So I'm more than happy to welcome them. of course, because I'm one of the few people who are always right about everything, I'm sure I'm
Okay.
going to have an opinion about it. But I mean, look, there's bound to be some debate there about what, why and what and wherefore. So I think I think being in the gap, it's like, if you're going to tell me that we're in the game, right, for that statement to be true, then the journey is about where we've come from. So in the last 3 months, in June,
Right.
where have we got to?
Okay. What would you say?
Tell me what we've achieved since June.
Okay. So I think we basically, okay, so since June, well, wealth system was online. Okay. That was the first version is online. So that was
What, in
actually,
June?
yeah, I mean, since June. Actually, it's online probably in September. I think finally we have to check, verify the invest, withdraw, all that functionality works. Okay. So I think that's one thing. I think the other thing is we have a pretty good understanding of the basically, the funnels. Well, basically we had a funnel design, okay, and started to build on the lead magnet. I think that's also a progress, right? So the first version of the lead magnet. And I would say the other, at least from my perspective, is the clarity of the importance of moving to a more decentralized approach, architecture, system, and even business model. Okay, as the way forward, because I am seeing, to get to our eventual goal of about 100 trillion in, let's say, 20-25 years, then likely it's going to be a lot more funds than what I previously anticipate. It could be well over 1 million different funds of, at least $100 million on average each. So I don't think there's, and also that's also something I got from Greg. I confirmed with him that, he's much more willing to keep his hands on his own money, as opposed to allow us, a third party, to manage his money. Okay, so I think that model might also work better and scale better if we were changing the model from us being the only assets owner to working with other assets owners. Obviously, we could have 1 or 2 funds that were still the assets owner or the custodian, but we should be open in our model to work with lots of different assets owners, right? Providing whatever consulting systems, software, or whatever they will be helpful for them, right? To basically tokenize and manage their tokenized assets. So I think
none of which I would disagree with.
Okay.
So the challenge that I think we need to be aware of, since since I've been talking to you for a year and a bit now, what I can see, and now I realize that other people have said the same thing. So I mean, the examples I use has been Chris, and most recently, what's his name? Andrew,
right.
Is it, where's the camera? Right. If JCF started here and had a trajectory of going, no, there. Sorry, I can't, I'm doing it on. So if he's doing that, then actually that was a perceived trajectory point, right? But what's happened is, where the hell is it? There we go. JCF starts here and it's been doing this. It hasn't actually been doing anything that takes us to that point, you know, in a straight direction, right?
Okay. Right.
And because it's been doing all of this sort of nonsense, different ideas come. And when you get to a different point, it's like, right, okay, so because of this influence, we're going to have to pivot and start going this way. Now, there might be nothing wrong with the logic about the reason for the change in direction or the pivot, right?
Right.
But as soon as you do that, you are you no longer have the same level of momentum to take you forward in your journey.
Okay, I see. Okay. All right. So that may be
yes. So telling me that there's a great idea in being consultants because we've gained from our experience, yes. Telling me that we need to get different funds because different people want to hold on to their own assets and manage their own assets, yes. None of that is wrong.
Okay.
What?
All right. So Josh is joining. He's the sync is.
Okay. I've got to go anyway. So.
Okay. All right.
I've got to drive up to London now.
But Mike, thanks. Do appreciate that. I think what you're saying, let me try to complete, is that while all the ideas could be right, could be valid, could be logical, they're not on a consistent trajectory towards a destination, right? And that might cause efforts to become sort of wasted.
You're constantly diluting the momentum, the power in which you're moving forward.
Right. Okay, so there hasn't been a momentum towards a single direction. Right.
And because of that, right, the idea of actually achieving the destination, it's kind of like you want to go to Mars. Like, okay, so Elon Musk wants to go to Mars.
Right.
All of his efforts are taking him there.
Okay, right.
Everything that he believes that people will live on Mars, right? So he's taking the human race there. That's his thing. That's his goal, right?
Yeah, true. Right.
All of his effort now is focused on that.
Okay.
And all of the different elements are getting him there.
Right. Okay. Right. All right. Great. All right. So okay. So that's.
And at the moment, I don't. And my challenge is that I don't think we're going to Mars. He said it was a good idea. We're just debating about whether or not we should build the launch pad a certain way, and we keep changing the way in which we're building the launch pad.
Right.
Let alone the rocket.
Okay. Right.
So I guess that's if that's an analogy that works for you, that's kind of where I think we need to the plan and the structure and all of this.
Okay.
I would say.
All right. I think that's fair. All right. So what I would suggest.
And now I'm not going to talk to you for a week, Shunyan.
Okay, sure. So.
Which I don't know if I'm being the gap or the game.
No. Come back and you will find a lot of progress, hopefully. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, good to talk. And yeah, Josh, would you like to share something with Mike quickly? Josh, can you hear? Hello? I think Josh, you're not muted. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Oh yeah. All right. Okay, good. All right. So no, I think Mike is about to go, but I guess anything you'd like to share with Mike? I guess about what recently happened you're in? Any wins you'd like to share?
And I need time to think.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Sure. Next time, man. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and just have a nice, thoughtful time. And,
okay.
We'll see you guys later.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. All right. Yeah.
All right.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Mike. All right.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy your coach session. Yeah. Take care. All right. Okay. So let me start the other.